Hello, everyone. This is episode 5 of this Ask Me Anything live Q&A series. Every time I do one of these, it's very, very interesting. Not only am I answering people's questions live in the chat, I am also just trying to encourage general discussion between all of us. Now, usually we have a wide variety of people joining who want to ask me different things and also just chat about the various things that have been going on my social media platforms in the last month since the last time we've done this. So I like to start by just talking about how I'm feeling at the moment. I posted something yesterday. I don't know whether you've seen it. And I just talked about how it can be frustrating at times when I am trying my hardest to progress things, and sometimes I'm just not getting the. I feel like sometimes I, people are not realizing how far things have come over the last few years. You know, this all started with me speaking at open mic nights on the stages in London. And when I was doing that, I swear to you, people were thinking, well, what am I going to speak about outside of my story? Like, once I've told my story many times, what is it that Jeremy's going to speak about? And then I start branching out into different areas. I speak a lot about about porn and its effects on young minds. I speak a lot about the education system and how we need to get children informed on the dangers of being online and living their life in this world. I talk about survivors and how it feels to have gone through an experience like this. So now my work is branching out into all different areas. But now then people start talking about, well, how are you going to make money? How are you? It's like constantly I feel like we should acknowledge how far things have come, especially with this new Something to Say page that's been launched that's going so well. The momentum is building with that. So for anybody that's joined, that's listening now, this is a Ask Me Anything live Q&A. Please do put your questions that you want me to answer in the comment section. It can be about anything. It can be about my story. It can be about what's going on now. It can be about just anything you like. So I'm really trying my hardest to push things with social media. And if you haven't noticed, I'm really trying my hardest to push things with my YouTube channel. One of the big reasons why I'm doing that is because it is one way that I'm going to be able to generate funds. And that is one of the big priorities that I'm facing right now. To generate funds from YouTube, you need to have 1,000 subscribers, and you also need to have 4,000 watch hours. Now that is very, very difficult to achieve. 4,000 watch hours in the last year is very difficult to achieve. That is like approximately, I worked it out, it's like 33 hours a week. I'm sure I've got that wrong actually. I can't remember the exact calculation. But it's not 33 hours a week. But it is a lot of hours. 4,000. It's 11 hours a day. 11 hours. I will need to create enough momentum that people are watching my 11 hours of my videos a day. That's crazy watch time. But it needs to be achieved. And then I can start monetizing this YouTube channel, and then I can start I can start generating funds this way, because at the moment everything is going this way and it's unsustainable. I can't sustain it. I can't sustain it. The savings that I created, the savings that I collected during my engineering career are now nearly at their end. And I cannot believe it. So crazy now. It's so crazy. And when I see those figures now, it really starts to get scary. Now it really starts to get scary. Because as I've mentioned on my social media before, once they run out, my savings run out, I need to return to some form of work, which means that I cannot concentrate on this full time. the Something to Say page, the YouTube channel, the social media content, me trying to confirm speaking events at universities, trying to progress all the different areas. It's really, really tough. So that's where we're at the moment. So if you've just recently joined, hi, this is episode 5 of this Ask Me Anything live Q&A series that I'm doing. Every one of them seems to be a really interesting and great discussion start. So if you have joined and you would like to ask a question, please do ask in the comment section. For anyone that is watching this, the recorded version of this, a few people have asked me whether I could start actually letting people submit their questions if they're in a different time zone and they cannot come to this live because in their country this is either in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day when they're working. Now, I have thought about doing that. However, that poses an admin task which at the moment I cannot give the time to. So I've decided to just keep it like this, where it's just ask me on the day. You may have seen that on my Instagram stories, I've been promoting this using some new poster designs that Naria, the person who does all the graphics that you're seeing on the social media pages, she is designing them and keeping the branding alive. So you may have seen that I've been posting on my story. What I didn't do this month very well at all, because I just didn't get that organized in time, is usually I am promoting on LinkedIn, I am promoting on Facebook, I am promoting on Instagram to get people to come to this live. But this time, unfortunately, I didn't do that. So that's why maybe the numbers are low today. But let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on. For anybody that is around, please do ask a question. You can put it straight in the chat box and we can get this discussion going. You can ask anything. Maybe you would like to ask anything about my story. Maybe you would like to ask anything about the content that I'm creating at the moment. Maybe you could ask anything about the progress on the YouTube channel, the donation page, the Something to Say page. Let's talk about the Something to Say page just briefly. It has been running really, really nicely. Things have been progressing with it. The momentum is progressing with it. We've hit a little lull, it seems, with the stories that have been submitted. We've got a few that we're just talking to get finalized, and then we'll post them. But this week, actually, we haven't posted any stories. That's because we haven't got any finalized. It seems like the submissions have slowed down a little bit. So now we're thinking about, well, how can we encourage more submissions? This starts to become a little bit difficult because I'm trying to let that page run itself. I'm trying to let its momentum build itself, and not to invest too much time into it. But this lull of submissions means that maybe actually I need to change that strategy. I'm now working with a brilliant lady called Karen, who is running the admin of that page, and she's doing a great job. She's really helping me out because she's helping me with just the time needed to invest in it. So that's working really well, and now we're just discussing how we can try to promote the page a little more, just to encourage the submissions, but also we've got some other avenues to go down. Now, before I dive into that a little bit deeper, we've had a question come in, which is fantastic. Let's get into that. The question is, what other kind of topics is that page for? And I'm guessing we are talking about the Something to Say page. That's a great question because that's something I'd really like to talk about. So at the moment, the Something to Say page is predominantly, we're seeing that it's a lot of people sharing their survivor stories, which is fantastic. So many people comment on those posts explaining that they get strength and courage from reading them. That is one of the goals. For sure, that is one of the goals. Now, something else that's brilliant that seems to be coming from that page is that a couple of people have written in who necessarily haven't got experience of abuse as a child, but they work within the field. So there's been a child psychologist that's written in. There's been a therapist that's written in. There's been a couple of people who run movements on mental health that have written in. There's been a parent who's opened the conversation with their children about private areas that wanted to say her bit. She's written in. So now you see we've got this, it starts to become multifaceted. It starts to have many different angles to it. So now it's not only a page of survivor stories, it also then starts to become a resource. It also then starts to become a platform where people can say what they've got to say. And as that grows, what I'm kind of hoping that it will start to grow and branch into many, many different areas. Maybe we start covering mental health. Maybe we start covering general childcare. Maybe we start covering things like the troubles and the experience people are having as they bring up children for the first time. Like, I do hope that it stays. You know what? Actually, I don't hope that it stays anywhere. What I'm really trying to do with that platform is let it be. Is to not try to manipulate it too much. I'm just trying to let it be. And I'm just trying to let it evolve as it wants to evolve. Now, as I mentioned before we got into that question, I have an excellent person helping me with this called Karen. She's running the admin for it, meaning she's communicating with the people that are submitting their features. But what's excellent is that she has a real passion for encouraging people, for helping people. So she is now, well, we are brainstorming together different ways that we can evolve that platform. So let's say these are some of the ideas. So it would be great to hear what you think about this. And again, if you're listening to the recorded version of this, maybe you'd like to comment in the comment section about what you think about this. So we are thinking of asking everybody that features to write a one-line quote that they'd like, a highlight that they think they would like people to hear, or we're thinking of asking each feature of something like, what's your number one coping mechanism? And then we're thinking of posting a feature like we are, and then in between them posting these words of advice that people have got, like the coping mechanism that they like to use, or what encourages them, or what advice would they like to give to someone. Then it starts to become a real community feel. That's what I think about it anyway. I think this is a great idea. It starts to become a community feel. Then not only have we got people sharing their stories or the information they want to share, we're then also posting a different style of post. Because I do understand that the features that we share, they are long written posts, and not everybody has the time or wants to read the length that those posts are. So maybe we can do little snapshots. Maybe we could actually ask the questions to the audience actually straight up and try to encourage comments in the comment section. So yes, I would like to see it evolve into a community feel. I feel like it's already going in that direction. Now, what's going to be great about that page is once I manage to launch the podcast, which actually everything's ready for, it's just the funds that are lacking. Then I'm planning to call it the Something to Say podcast. So it will live on that page. When the merchandise finally gets launched, which I'm trying to progress that as quickly as I can as well, that will live on that Something to Say page. So now that Something to Say page starts to build. It becomes multifaceted. One of those challenges there, though, is with the grid on Instagram, that possibly will change, or do we only use the story. Facebook works a little differently. Twitter works a bit differently. And so on and so on. There's many, many challenges, but creative challenges, right? The creative challenges. So that is excellent. Well, it's very motivating and encouraging, and I love it. I love just getting creative and trying to work out what works the best. Okay. So, whilst we wait for more questions for anyone that's joined, please do submit your question in a question box. I'm not going to lie, I feel a little bit sad because usually we got 20 or 30 people in the live chat. But as you can see from the screen recording up here, we've only got 2 people today. So I'm not sure what's going on. But I would like to say something about that actually. And that is, social media works in mysterious ways. And that's not just me saying it. That is everybody understanding that sometimes you put something out there and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they will decide how much it gets promoted. They will decide who they send it to. They will decide what order they come in on that person's newsfeed. Some things are actually out of our control as creators on social media. Some people are so angry about that, and yeah, it's definitely frustrating, right? It's definitely frustrating, but I suppose you just got to deal with it because actually I am using their platform that they built and it's for free. I use it for free. I get an audience. We're not paying to be on Instagram, so we have to just play their game. So that's the way, that's the life of this online thing that I'm learning about. Okay, so it's just Rachel has just, hey, I was just listening and I did not realise I was just one of 2. Rest assured, I'm here. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Yeah, I just explained it's really unusual. Usually we got 20, 30 people in here, but today there really isn't that many. But that's going to be a challenge for me to try to keep this going because many people are watching the recorded version on YouTube. If you haven't been to my YouTube, or if you're new to my YouTube channel, please check it out. That is where a lot of my time is going into now. I've just done a little upgrade on the YouTube thumbnails, and I'm trying my hardest to progress that page. It's important. That's where now the long form videos are going to live. The longer videos, the 10-minuters, the 20-minuters, and more than that. They're all going to live on the YouTube channel. And then now I'm trying to arrange it so that all my social media feeds are bite-sized pieces of information. Maybe they're even just to let you know something has been posted on YouTube. Now, when I started all of this, I was actually posting all my videos, even the long ones, even the half an hour ones on my social media. So on Instagram, you would see, if it's half an hour, I'll post it on there. But now I'm just trying to adjust the strategy because I understand that when people are scrolling through their newsfeed, and I've seen it, like when I'm on the train, I'm like taking a little peek just to see how people are using their social media. And they are going through it at a rapid rate. Like a rapid rate. It's crazy. So they're not stopping to see a half an hour video. They're not stopping to see that length of video. They don't want to watch that on their Instagram. That's for YouTube. So I'm just arranging the strategy like that. We're trying. Just trying my best. I'm just trying my best and I'm learning as we go. Now, we've had a couple of new people come into the chat room. Hi, thanks for joining. Ask Me Anything live Q&As going on here. Episode 5. Please, if you have any questions, do submit them in the box. I'm here to answer whatever people are interested in, curious about. So I hope people do have some questions and then we can get those discussions going. So while we're waiting for some questions, let's keep going because I need to make sure that I own these challenges. This is a challenge right now for me. I'm not going to lie about it. this is a challenge because usually we got questions coming in, quick questions constantly. So this is a challenge for me to just talk ad hoc in front of the camera and try my best to cover all bases and make it entertaining. Because if it's entertaining, then people are interested, then people watch, and then people learn more about the topic. I've just got off the phone to a guy who I'm now working with, which I haven't really spoken about on my pages yet. His name's Job, and he's from Focus Frame Productions. We're just working on some ideas, and actually what we're doing is we're trying to put a concept together for a movie. He is such a enthusiastic, passionate guy. I'm really glad to be connected with him. And something that we were talking about today was the fact that I am trying my absolute hardest to make this subject engaging, even though it is terribly uncomfortable. I want people to feel involved, interested, engaged. I don't know, maybe entertaining is the wrong word, but is it? Is it the wrong word? I'm not sure. Let's throw this one out there. If you're listening to the recorded version of this, please put in the comment section whether you agree if entertaining, if I should use the word, or if I should explain that I'm trying to make this content entertaining. Because that feels like the wrong word, because it kind of feels like it's a positive thing when we know that the subject is not a positive thing. But if you can make it entertaining, then you capture the attention of that person, and then you keep the attention of that person. Then they watch the video to the end, and then they get informed. Because I'm trying to I'm trying to spread the knowledge of what I've learned in my life, what I've learned through researching this topic, and what I'm just trying to communicate what I've learned, right? I'm not an academic and I've got no certificate. I've got lived experience. And actually yesterday I was on a walk in the morning and I thought to myself, actually lived experience is so valuable. It's so valuable. Okay, we've got Shireen here saying the word interesting instead she'd go with, and also captivating. Yes, I agree with that. I think that's better. That is better than entertaining. Interesting and captivating. Yes, that's a lot better wording for sure. I won't use entertaining because those two words are really a lot better. Also, hi Rachel. We got another person saying entertainment does have its place. It brings people kind of in the door and then hopefully get much more after that. Yes. So the videos that I'm releasing on YouTube, the ones I got a range of videos that are on there. I've got reaction videos where I review a video. I feel like they're very useful because we can then review a video that somebody has already done research on, or it's of somebody who's talking that has done research or done a study or got an opinion. We can go through that and have a look at it. Now, on Monday, I released one and I knew it was going to be controversial. And the title of it was Non-Offending Paedophiles Are Asking for Our Acceptance in Society. This guy has written a book on the stigma around non-offending paedophiles. I reviewed the video and I posted on Instagram and the other social medias that I had reviewed this video and it's in YouTube. Now, what I wrote in that caption was this. I didn't I wrote, I didn't agree with everything the man said, but some of his points were interesting. I got shot down by a few people for saying that. And those few people that were shooting me down, they were nasty about it. I don't like that. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes criticism. Nobody likes being attacked. Attack's the wrong word. Nobody likes bad words being said to them. However, what it did do was it made me realize I need to be very, very careful with my words, because saying I didn't agree with everything that he said, but he made some interesting points, I would reword that now that I read that back to myself. So those people have highlighted to me that I just need to be mega careful with every single thing that I say towards this subject, because it makes people feel so emotional. Rightly so. Rightly so. Anyway, it was an interesting video to review. So if you didn't watch that, do consider checking it out. The other types of videos that are going on my YouTube channel are the discussion videos. The last one that I put out there was called The Gift and the Curse of My Childhood Sexual Abuse. I think that is a fascinating title. Yeah, I'm gonna think that is a fascinating title, because I'm sure that people read that and be like, where is the gift? Where is the gift in it? Where is the gift? And I'm always trying to squeeze some good out of the experience, because what else are you gonna do? What else are you going to do with an experience that causes you hurt? Because I'm believing, currently, my belief is that if we only hang around the sadness and sorrow of this experience, we will drown. We will drown. If you didn't watch that video, let me just say one of the gifts that I talked about in that video. It was the experience of childhood sexual abuse taught me. It raised my awareness for the children in my own family. It raised, I'm more vigilant now with this subject. I'm more aware of this subject, and that puts me in a good position to watch more carefully the children that are around me and sense any danger. Now, I don't know whether I articulated that the best that I could, but I hope you understand what I mean. I tried to take some gifts out of the experience. The curses are obvious, right? The curses are obvious. So we got reaction videos, we got discussion videos, and we've got the more higher production level videos. Did you see the flashbacks video that I released? I felt strong about that video. I felt like that is a video that I made in the hope that people watched it who have been through an experience like that and felt represented by what I was saying. The production quality is high. I worked with editors for that. I worked with, we developed the script. Like, I really gave it my all. Now, something that's I feel is just such a fantastic position to be in is I have 11 videos that I'm just finishing off. My plan is to release them fortnightly. So 11 videos, that's 22 weeks worth of videos that are nearly finished. It's going to be an amazing achievement once they're finished. It's literally the finishing touches that I'm putting on them now. And then I will have a wide variety. They're all different. They're actually in sets, which are similar sets, but they've got a wide range of style. Every 2 weeks, I'm planning on a Thursday. I'm still deciding that. Feels like things are going to really jump up in 2022. That's my plans. So it's just Rachel. I just want to read your comment out. I understand that there's a time and a place where we focus on offenders and paedophilia, but I just don't want to review it. And Sarah Grillo, I yes, I understand that. I understand that. That's why I'm actually trying to create a range of videos, a range of posts. You may see on my social media. I'm sometimes talking about how I'm doing. I'm sometimes talking about how I'm feeling or an update on the project. I'm sometimes talking about my experience. Sometimes I'm talking about the education in children. Sometimes I'm talking about porn and its effects on young people. I'm trying that every single post is different. Every single post is different. And yes, Rachel, that is a nice amount. I'm feeling so good about it. I'm just getting the YouTube thumbnails designed right now. And then we're ready. We're ready. I need to focus on writing the descriptions and the YouTube titles because I'm learning now about keyword searches on YouTube. This is crazy. There's so much to... When you watch a video on YouTube, it's so crazy, all the background work. It's so crazy. I just want to talk about one of the posts that I put out last week. It's about just before I do that, Rachel, you're writing some really interesting things, so let's just, particularly if it's trying to understand them or if the focus is to see things their way, unless it's more like a warning video and signs to look out for. Signs to look out for is an interesting thing. It's just made me think right now. I don't think I've actually ever put out anything about signs to look out for or signs to look out for in children. Yeah, I've never really put out anything like that. But yes, it is part of that side of my work is trying to understand them so that we can try to get to the bottom of why they're doing it and see if that helps us with prevention. Yeah. I posted something last week. It was a lengthy post, writing wise. And it started with when he taught me how to kiss on the image. It's a really tough post to read. It was a really... It wasn't a tough post to write, but as I was writing it, I knew that it held weight. I knew that it was strong. You know what? I'm going to read out the first part of the writing. When he taught me how to kiss, I remember he would get so into it. He would teach me different ways on how to do it. Sometimes like this, sometimes like that. There was never any aggression. He was soft with me, progressing me stage by stage. He was fully turned on. I could feel his arousal as he leant up against me. Now, when I wrote that, it felt so strong. Honestly, it felt so strong. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking to myself, why? What was it about it that made me feel so strong? Saying it like that. I'm always trying to write these things in a way that I'm trying to own the situation. I'm trying to write it in a way that shows that was nothing to do with me. That was all to do with him. I was a kid. I got manipulated. I got tricked. I got brainwashed. And that's it. I'm always trying to work out ways in writing things so that when people read it, they can see that I am doing my best to not feel embarrassed that happened. Because if I can express the level of embarrassment that I have, that I've been working on for over 10 years now, then it's possible that at least one person reads that and gets it. Another reason why I feel like that post is so strong is because nobody ever thinks about kissing being in child sexual abuse. Everybody thinks that it's some aggressive, physical, violent act where the child is scared and frightened. I'm going to guess this, and I'm not sure if I'd be confident in saying I'm not too far off. And that is, if we knew about every single case of child sexual abuse, I'm going to say more often than not, it's soft and it's gentle. Because the grooming process is more often than not soft and gentle. It's a trickery. It's a manipulation, slow manipulation. It's not like all of a sudden you're in a room and you're naked with the adult. No. This is the misconception I feel is with the public. I really do. I feel like that's the misconception of the public. So when people read that caption, people are shocked, but people can feel it. They can feel it. They can feel how wrong that is. They're going to feel sad. They're going to feel angry. They're going to feel like, oh my goodness, I can see how that can happen. I can see how that can happen. That's important, right? That's important. And if I can squeeze that into the videos and the films that I'm putting together, then that is also going to be an incredible thing. That's going to be an incredible thing. I'm trying also to post a reel a day, an Instagram reel. And I also video that in Facebook format, Twitter format, LinkedIn format. This is what I'm saying with how much work goes into this. Instagram push reels far and wide. You get a massive reach on your audience. And I'm trying to articulate myself and put a point across in the best way that I can. And with that limit of 60 seconds, it's a real challenge. It's pushing me to improve all the time. It really is. Tomorrow is Thursday, and I'm going to re-release a Christmas video that I released last year. And I'm just putting the subtitles on it for social media. And it is so incredible to see how everything has changed. Everything. That was shot last year. The script is old. It's still very valuable. That's why I've made the decision to re-release it. But you can see how the way I perform the script, the way I deliver, my tone of voice, my hand gestures, the way the video is put together. I mean, I would do it completely different now. And that's good because that shows that improvement is being made. Improvement is constantly being made. It is one of the things that drives me and always has. Maybe we could chat a little bit about what's going to happen in 2022. So, this is what's going on. This is now the vision. And the reason why this needs to be disciplined is because disciplined and structured and methodical is because my money runs out end of February, which on Monday, that is 10 weeks. 10 weeks to go until my money that I collected in my engineering career is out. I've used it all. Right, so there's the big problem there. Because once I use it all, Then I have to go back to some form of work, which means I cannot put 100% into this project, which is okay now because I've got people like Karen. I've got a video editor for the YouTube channel. I've got Naria who does the branding. So it will continue to move, but it will slow down. It's obviously not ideal. So what am I doing to try to keep the momentum going? Right, we got a few things. Number one, as I mentioned earlier in this Q&A, keep pushing the YouTube channel, because as soon as you meet their requirements, which I am pushing towards, they start paying you for views. It's so important. The second one is to keep pushing the donation page, which I haven't been doing enough of. I need to start doing that more. Number three, I'm now in touch with universities. I'm in touch with 2 universities and a school in East London for possible paid speaking events. And number 4, I am in talks with the people who award government grants for start-up businesses. And number 5, to get this merchandise, which I have designed, up and running. There are 5 avenues where I can generate funds. Do you know that when I started all of this, on the open mic stages in London, where I would turn up at the event, pass my phone to a member of the audience and ask them to video me, get home and just post it on social media. Think how crazy this is now. Think how crazy it is that even just universities are interested in having me, are interested in discussing with me what I can bring to the table. That's so crazy. I've got these possible government funding. People have been donating over the last 6 months. Little bits here and there, but it all helps. It's just come so far. I don't want it to fall at the last hurdles. So 2022 is a big push on those 5 things. I feel like the merchandise is a given. I just need to build it properly before launch. There's so much that goes into it. Suppliers, product standard, product specification. Who's going to deal with the customer service side of things? Where do the returns go to? Do we buy stock or do we do this thing called drop shipping? How do we promote it? How are we going to adjust the website to have that facility that you can buy the merchandise from? It's crazy. I just need to get it launched. It's a given. People have already expressed their interest in buying some of the merchandise. And the merchandise will have a feel of strength and courage. It won't be necessarily specifically about child abuse. The something to say thing is more than only child abuse. It's about strength, courage, empowerment, encouragement. That's what it's about. So, it's just Rachel. You know what? I understand that so many people are in a position where they cannot give financially. And I should really talk about this a little bit more, because a like, a comment and a share is where we can move forward. And it's just Rachel. Please send me a DM, because if you do graphic design, that's going to be mega helpful right now. So please just DM me. Okay, amazing. We have a question. My goodness. I feel great that we are 46 minutes in and we just kept the flow going. Really good. How was your relationship with your mum and dad? Did you trust them with your feelings? If so, would you have spoken up sooner? Okay, there's a few questions in there. How was your relationship with your mum and dad? Did you trust them with your feelings? So, how was your relationship with your mum and dad? upbringing and family was your normal thing, right? That was normal. That's what I want to talk about more. This can happen anywhere. I wanted to never tell my mum and dad what happened, but I couldn't avoid it because there was a prosecution attempt against this man, and so they needed to be involved in the investigation. So I told them. Did I trust them with my feelings? I don't think I really thought about that. Every time I ever spoke out in the early days with my close friends, I never really thought about my feelings in that interaction. I just knew it was something that I needed to do and that was necessary. And if so, would you have spoken up sooner? I spoke up. I spoke up. I was just about to say, I spoke up at the earliest point that I could. I was never. No, I don't know. Actually, hang on. Let me just think about that. This is crazy. If so, would you have spoken up sooner? I spoke up really when I was ready to speak up. I was really had thought about it for 2 years. Built myself up for it. Realised that was my way out, which is interesting, yeah. And realised that was my option. Realised that actually keeping it to myself was not working. The pain was only the discomfort, not the pain. The discomfort was only heightening. So I knew that I had an urge to speak out, and I don't think much would have made me do it sooner. I did it when I was ready, when I look back at that now. So thank you for those questions. Another question come in. Do you remember a time when you were younger when you wanted to speak out? I feel like I have... No, I don't feel like I've already answered that in part. So, let me tell you 2 times when this thing hit me like a ton of bricks. I watched the film Sleepers, which is about a boys' school, and they get abused there by the wardens. Boarding school, I believe. That was on, and I was watching it with friends. I didn't know what the film was about. It started, and oh my god, I could not deal with it. I could not handle it. It was like the first scene. I made an excuse up and went home. Now, that would have been in my early 20s. I didn't speak out until I was 27, right? So, I never forgot what happened. Never forgot about it. But I just didn't care about it. There was nothing in me. There was no urge thinking that the best thing for me to do is speak out. Like, there was such a process to go through to get to that stage. The second one, when I was younger, was I went to a party. Somebody was dressed as Jimmy Savile. And I felt very weird about that. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel sad. It just, you know what you could say? It triggered me, right? You could say that. But again, I just didn't care enough. The speaking out thing was after I really spent some years sitting with the memories. They were causing me discomfort. And I felt this urge. You know what? Something in me told me it was a good idea. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. Because it's not like I heard from someone else that would be helpful. It's like something in me told me that was a good idea. And it was a good idea. Because once I'd done it, I felt real good. So I just want to make sure I answered my previous question. So CYNville says, I'm talking about when you were a kid. And yes, okay, I understand what you mean. There was never, ever a moment where I thought about telling anyone during the abuse was going on. Why? because I was completely brainwashed. I was completely 100% hook, line, and sinker. Really. There was nothing in me that felt like I should tell. There was nothing in me that felt like I should break the secret. There was nothing in me that really analysed what I was doing and how wrong it was, because I had been brainwashed enough to think that what we were doing was just something that me and the guy did. There was nothing to tell. There was nothing to tell. There was nothing to tell anyone. It was our secret. It was our secret. It really is as simple as that. Again, these are the things that I want to try to communicate. People are not understanding this, but it's not their fault. It's because there's not enough information out there. And if there was more information out there, then maybe we could get to the bottom of this. And also, this content that I'm creating is working because I've had a handful of parents talk about, now since seeing my videos, they're talking to their children on a regular basis. That is invaluable. Invaluable. That is mission. I don't want to say mission complete, because if you say mission complete, all the work's done, and we're far from that. That is one road towards greatness. We got a little question come up in the question box. Thank you, Nikki. Did you worry how your family would feel sharing your story? I never ever wanted to tell my family about this, because I knew that it's only gonna cause sadness, pain, hurt, that will never go away and will never reduce. It's still there for everyone, including my friends. Including my friends that were around when this was all going on. They feel the hurt as well. It's slightly different for them because they see the power of the Something to Say movement. And maybe if I can try to continue with all of this, I can try to turn the pain that everybody that knows me on a personal level feels into, maybe I could reduce it a little bit. Worth a try. It's just Rachel says, Jeremy, absolutely same thing I say. There was nothing to tell, but in my mind, I was, because if it was my fault anyway, so I wouldn't want to say anything. You know what? It's really, there's two things that you hear a lot when you hear this subject discussed, and that is people saying that survivors feel like it's their fault. And when I think about that for my situation, during it, there was no fault. There was no wrongdoing. We weren't doing anything wrong in my eyes. So I never felt like it was my fault then. And I feel like maybe I'm lucky in my adult age to never feel like it was actually my fault. Now, just to elaborate on that a little bit, I do remember on a couple of occasions where I would go to him and start it. Wow. That's something I've never really reported on before. I remember that. 2 occasions in my head. Now, that means I could come to the conclusion that those 2 occasions were my fault. But I have learnt that is not true. There is not 1% of that would be true. Anybody that's been abused as a child, anybody that feels at fault for the abuse they suffered as a child, that is not, that there is zero fault. There is zero fault. That is something that is, I feel very confident saying that's a definite. And included in that, there is zero shame to feel. When you think about it logically, right? Take all the emotion away from the situation and you look at it from an engineering point of view, a logical point of view. There is no shame to be experienced. There was no embarrassment to be experienced because you were a child. But of course, we're human beings, so we feel those things. The shame and embarrassment is a little bit different, but the fault, there's zero fault there. I received countless messages from people saying that they start to see that now. They start to see that now. It's so important. It's so important. It's not talked about enough. It's not talked about enough. It's not talked about from men enough. And on my Instagram story, I posted the other day because I went into my analytics, my insights into my social media platform, and it's like 10% men and 90% women that are following me. I asked the question to my Instagram audience why that is. So many people replied to that story saying because it's mums and caregivers for children, which are generally, in general, females. And men find this subject difficult to handle, difficult to listen to, and that's why it's 10% men. I'm a man speaking out, so I would have thought it would be a different dynamic. But anyway, that's the way it is. Okay, look at this. We're at 58 minutes past. My goodness, that was challenging. That was challenging, but I feel really good that we made it through. Like I said at the start of this, usually there's 20, 30 people in here. We got so many questions, I can't even keep up. This one was very different. Thank you for everyone that's been involved. Thank you so, so much. And I'm going to record this and put it on my YouTube channel, possibly Friday if I can get it done by then. And we're going to keep moving forward. 2022 is a massive year, the start of it. We're going to push as far as we can. And thank you for the support. And let's see what we can do with this. Thank you so much and have a great evening.